Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Long Song Saturday, and today we're gonna take a little water course. We're gonna get in our boats, head on down. Thank you so much for being here today. Hope you're having a wonderful one out there as we dive into the debut album Watercourse Way by the band Shadowfax. I've never heard of the band, don't know a thing about them, but we're gonna dive on in. I like the album cover a lot though. It's a very relaxing, kind of chill album cover. And pull you guys up here really quick. It's a little blurry on my end, but it just looks like a nice peaceful day out there in the woods. We're listening to this because it was suggested and recommended, this album, or at least the band as well. Mark Dredgler, David Emery, Mixatonic, Fortune Agent, Del Little, John Wilson, Marad, LSWN, and X Lurb, or Zlurb, perhaps that's how you pronounce that. Thank you guys so much for the recommendation, for the suggestion with the band. Like I said, never heard of them, don't know a thing about them, but we're going to go ahead and find out a little bit today. As far as I can tell, I'm assuming that this album is instrumental because when I was looking for lyrics, I could not find any. But if there are lyrics and if there is singing, well, I couldn't find any lyrics. So we're going to be a little bit lost on that one. But otherwise, hope you guys are doing well, having a great one. If you don't mind pressing the like button before we even continue, just get it out the way. If you want, you can subscribe and all that other stuff. Support what I do on Patreon or the Buy Me a Coffee page right up there if you want to jump the line with your song requests. But otherwise, let's go ahead and dive right into the album with the first track, which is going to be The Shape of a Word. And this sip of nicely filtered Florida water is for you. Definitely jumped right on in. That was a chaotic opening, that's for sure. Hits keep on coming. It's kind of sneaky. I love how that comes through. Some interesting sounds. I like how the bass is providing that thick movement under there, that current. And the guitars are just kind of sparkly playing on top with piano. That piano's gorgeously lighting things back up. pulling hard. Dizzy. It's a mellotron? The piano playing is really, really nice. Every time it comes through, it stands out a lot. By the chords. How the piano's panning. Running up. Well, that was a lot for the opening track here on the album. The shape of a word, it gives us every single shape. You got triangles, trapezoids, rhombuses, and even a dodecahedron. You got everything in this one. I feel like the first half of it was so incredibly jazz fusion. That's what we're getting here, a very progressive jazz fusion take here with just blistering time changes and the hits coming out of everywhere. Incredible solos that are just flying at 100 miles per hour here. The guitar especially was a big standout when it came to the solos. That's going to be G.E. Stinson on anything guitar related here. And there's a lot of times when his guitar is just chaotically, like I said, blazing through this track and leaving a fiery trail behind, or sometimes pulled back a little bit to give something a little more gentle, like those kind of starry crystalline melodies that he plays sometimes, especially alongside with the piano and the synths, which besides the guitar was very, very much a wonderful standout. Doug Malechnik on the piano, synthesizers, and apparently harpsichord at some points as well. Every time the piano came through, amongst this chaos, amongst the fury and the fire, the piano always came through in a wonderfully, wonderfully tuneful way, and I really enjoyed how that came through. And then the synth that he would use, the sounds were very spicy, but still very soulful, matched with the music while still giving it that progressive and moving forward kind of feel. So I really, really enjoyed the piano playing from Doug. I would say that was like probably the biggest standout on the track. Some cool production tricks around as well. As the piano was playing, it would like pan this way and pan that way. Just kind of give it a more expansive feel. The bass playing, Phil Magini on double bass, electric bass, and also bells. Love the bass playing. I love there's one run where you hear the bass playing with Stinson on the guitar, and as they kind of go back and forth, it's like this cool kind of phoenix rising from the ashes moment. Like I felt that fire coming through in the bass playing as I was playing with the guitar there. It was just a really cool opening track with, like I said, it's very chaotic. This so far on that one, it's like throwing you right into the cold water and into the deep end of the pool, but it did soften up a little bit more on the second half. So let's go ahead and see where it continues on and where it moves forward from there with the next track, which is Linear Dance. It's just going in one direction, just straight linear. Here we go. Back to it. Bass coming through. It's like the guitars are just crying on the sides while the bass is just heavily going straight down. That's assaultive.
At varying degrees of speed, we spin.
There's lyrics here.
Paths without end.
It's like King Crimson a little bit.
Romance, wondered and forgotten.
I can't follow it. I'm trying, but I can't. Very heavy. Is that guitar?
Space, you see, like you cannot share.
It's cool how the bass came through.
With me, visions, asleep and realized.
Love the bass playing. Back to that. Woodblock xylophone. What's that?
Angry blood from one point to this universe.
Kind of an eerie ending. Okay, so there's your transition. There's your transition to the next track there. Linear Dance, if I thought the first track was a lot, Linear Dance is more. It's the sequel to a lot. There is so much happening. This feels like the progressive track of the album. It's heavy. It's a little mind bending. The drumming is intense. All the way that's being played. Stuart Nevitt on the drums and percussion here, and he is not letting up on this track. There is just a lot happening, and then surprisingly, there was singing. I had to look really quickly to see if I could find lyrics or there for him, which I did find on some random website that came up. So the singing is also being handled by Mr. Stinson, who's playing guitar, and he's not really singing. He's just kind of speaking in a kind of voice like this, slightly dramatic but also monochromatic. Like he's kind of singing in that regard. I didn't love it because he's just kind of speaking in there, and I didn't really care for his voice. It didn't really make an impact. So, the vocals could have been, what is it called, 86 or whatever they call it in restaurant terms. That could have been done without. But otherwise, this feels like a lot of a track. This is a kitchen sink of a track. And personally, just for myself personally, it's a bit much. It's not really, there's nothing in here that's grabbing me or kind of getting my attention. For as chaotic as it is and everything, it just kind of sounds flat. Like nothing really sounds great for me. But it's okay. It's okay. I still think the guitar and the keyboard sounds and the way that those are being played are the standout and really making a huge impact, alongside the bass. I forgot to mention that. But this track just feels like a lot, and it doesn't really do anything for me personally. Although that little bit of an eerie ending that was kind of leading into the next track does interest me to see where that goes, because it definitely changed the tone and had a little bit of a shift there. So let me go ahead and back it up, because I'd like to hear where that's going. Because it sounded like it was calming things down from the way that it flowed into the piano of this next track, which is Petite Aubade, or Aubade. I don't know what that means. Aubade? We'll find out. But let me get the transition. This is like very much like Mahavishnu Orchestra with Linear Dance, so what it was doing. All right, let's get to the next track here. Catch the transition. Here we go. Let's see if it keeps things light. It's like a beautiful flutter. Into this. romantic track. This is like musical infatuation. Especially with the flute and, of course, the breathiness of it. I like how this sounds like an inhale, and this is the exhale now, as that breath is being blown and coming out. Sounds like Griffin now. Cool change. That still works in the context, you know? Like those strong strikes of the chords. Oh, that's harpsichord. This one looks like a medieval dance. So this kind of perfectly tail ends what I would imagine would be like this side of the album, perhaps because we're halfway through. And it definitely a change of pace. Now they show off their acoustic, their folk, their classical style kind of leanings, and it's a wonderful result. I love the gorgeous melodies from the guitar and the piano as they play, especially in that first half. The flute's kind of leading them like the Pied Piper, just kind of leading the piano and the guitar through those streets. And I thought that was fantastic how that was played. And the movements of that particular section, like I mentioned during the piece playing, it felt like a musical inhale. There was always that pause, a little dramatic pause, a hesitancy, and then exhale. And that's when the music would kind of come back, flowing with a kind of refreshed feeling. And the flute would always be exhaling with it, kind of leading it with that breath, which I thought was really, really nice. That was like a great combination there. And then kind of reminded me of Camel for a second there. And then as we moved into the second half of the track, it completely changed, and we moved into a kind of classical, medieval kind of sound, like a Baroque perhaps kind of sound, because of the way that the harpsichord was playing alongside of there, I believe was a recorder. And you know what they say, if it ain't Baroque, don't fix it. Please clap. And here, the harpsichord, like I said before, was played by Doug, and then the clarinet, clarinet, but also recorder and oboe are played by Chuck Greenberg. And here, like I said, you definitely get a style change where they're kind of flexing their Renaissance wings, and I really like how they're showing you a different side of what they can do. They can go from blazing Mahavishnu, King Crimson kind of, progressive fusion, or into something like this, which, like I had mentioned, kind of reminded me of Griffin in that very Renaissance, the town square kind of feel. But I think that was a really cool way to kind of reach this halfway point in the album and kind of give us something different. Also, I forgot to go over the lyrics previously with linear dance. So let me just do that really quick, because I forgot to tell you that I had it pulled up here. So what he's saying there, he's speaking, at varying degrees of speed we spin inward to paths without end, movements numbered and forgotten as if confined to the head of a pin. With caution we dance to the end, each step measured and remembered. Through each tiny glass we whisper words we dare not say aloud. Sounds timed and repeated within the space you see, sights you cannot share with me, visions received and realized. Here the metal groans and grows, angling upward from one point, pyramids in reverse. Walking on our hands is clear, laughter floats upon the air, serenades our every thought. Sounds like a lot of poetry about movement and physics in some capacity. And thinking about Watercourse Way, there is a movement there. I don't know if Watercourse Way is an actual place, because on this album cover, you see just a natural, like a creek or a waterfall here, a small one. So perhaps it's about movements, and this whole album, to an extent, is maybe about movement. Let me see if there's nothing on the Wikipedia page. I just went here really quick. There's absolutely nothing there. Maybe I can find something eventually, but that's what I'm kind of getting, at least based off of it. And there's a little spacey words thrown in there. Pyramids in reverse, walking on our hands is clear. I don't know. Something about movement. Let's go and move on to the next track, however, which is going to be Book of Hours, which hopefully doesn't take us hours to read. Here we go. It's fading in. It's a nice kind of quietly spacey opening here. It's kind of cool. Cool backward sound. Ooh, I kind of like how that sneakily came in. I like that. had to prog it up. We had to prog it up. I love that guitar tone. It's just rough and dirty in here. Great drum fill. It's that drumming. That was a ride. Some sax? Is that sitar or is that there's another instrument like that. That's sitar, yeah. This is the best song. This is the track. This is the track. Have arrived. Big snare. Sorry, I had to bring it back. Had to rein it in. Book of Hours is the best track on this album at this particular point. If anything tops that, I'll be a happy camper. Grab my tent and I'll pitch it. This is a 5 out of 5 song track piece of music. It was already fantastic in that first half. It was already going to absolutely brilliant places. The opening, lovely. A little spacey, a little quiet, right? Like a little quiet Vangelis, right? And then later, we get a little bit further in. It's just gorgeously building up, right? Hold on, here we go. See, even though it moves on from that wonderfully ambient opening and starts beginning to move into those more progressive roots, it does so subtly, especially because that bass playing. When the bass entered, it just brought this nice, I don't know, feel, this warmth into the music at that point. And then that bass transitioned and helped kind of bring in the drums as it moved into that section there. Which, yes, then it moves into the more fusion moments, but because of the bass and the synths, I feel like it was still grounded and it was still firmly rooted in that kind of opening theme to an extent. And it played really, really fantastic through there. You know, get some fun chord kind of solos. This right here, I actually found it immediately, reminded me a little bit of Gentle Giant, like early Gentle Giant. Just a little bit, though. There's something about the notes that are being played there before this part. And we get our first nice guitar solo right there, and all of it sounds soulful, very spirited the way they're playing. But halfway through, we take a detour on this Watercourse way, and we get into what absolutely makes this track a 5 out of 5 track to me. This whole saxophone kind of Middle Eastern sound that it shifts into, this sitar gently playing in the back, providing this newfound kind of like sound, and the way that it progresses from there is absolutely climactic. It's very satisfying. As it goes and goes and goes and goes, that saxophone eventually reaches a mountainous high and just shouts out from the highest of hilltops. That's going to be Chuck Greenberg, once again, on the saxophone and handling everything of that regard. Oboe, the recorder that we heard previously. And it's an incredible, perfect piece of music and a moment to me. And the way the drums and percussion play up around it, kind of weaving us into its spell. The tabla there. This is a perfect few minutes of music right there. That saxophone was just right. And then, of course, it ends right back into this. Now, if I'm being super nitpicky, I wish the last minute where it just hit the guitar solo again and everything, I wish maybe the saxophone would have ended things, but that's just me being picky, because this wasn't ending right here. Right here. This. Sounds like a heavier Bitches Brew from Miles Davis for some reason. All right, let's move on to the next track here, which is going to be the title track. If it's the title track, it has to make some sort of an impact, or in this case, a splash. So let's see if we are sinking or swimming. It's like a Western folky kind of sound. Sax is back. Yes. All the way down and down. This is very cool. I love when they go into this direction right here. the way the bass was being plucked there. That's really good. I hear that double bass as kind of weaving this tapestry of melody. That tabla is so wonderful. Some snappy guitar playing. Start it again. It's hitting those harmonics too, it sounds like. That was good. That bass, oh my. That vibrato is so catchy. That final little crash sounded like a ah. Okay, second best track on the album. Book of Hours and Watercourse Way, these two right in tandem next to each other make for a great, great listen. Oh man, I love how the title track, we come back to this more folkier, acoustic led kind of sound, because that's where I'm finding the band very, very much more attractive for myself personally, with the ideas that they pull off in here. And that stand-up bass alongside of the tabla is just a great, great, wonderful combination. I love the movement that they have, the style that it brings into this particular piece is just to die for. But then some of the flashiest and snappiest guitar playing you also have in here. acoustically. The moments where he's just, can't even tell you, but just quickly kind of just like hitting the notes there is so intense and cathartic at that moment. But at the same time, because it's acoustic, there's still a certain gentleness. But man, does the power come across absolutely crazy there. And then I think, we have some more saxophone that comes through in the beginning. I believe it's going to be a recorder that Chuck Greenberg's playing on this one, or something called the Lyricon, which I know we've heard someone else using it before on a track that we had listened to in a different video somewhere. I can't remember who though. But it's another kind of wind instrument, but an electronic one. And I feel like that may be what he's using here in some capacity. Because to me, it does sound like there's maybe an electronic influence in there somewhere with the winds, but I couldn't be quoted on that exactly. But like, seriously, wonderful playing. We once again kind of reach that nice climactic peak with the saxophone when it plays. And especially when the guitar comes in, it just kind of sweeps that away. And then the ending of Watercourse Way is really good. Let's see if I can find it. This moment is like when everyone is involved in reaching that final moment. And then as it brings down, perhaps it's me, but there's also something of a folky Celtic kind of feel as well in the end there. Maybe not like overall, but just a little bit of a feel there. Or perhaps an influence, a shade of an influence might be the best way to put it. But that was another excellent track. If Book of Hours is a 5 out of 5, this one's a 4.5 out of 5. I loved how they played in there. So let us move on to the final track of the album, A Song for My Brother. Let us dive in, listen to it, round it all up, and end our Watercourse Way. Water. That's mysterious. There's a mood building here. This sounds like the water rushing up to us gently. This sounds like the end to an epic journey. Resolution of the story. It just feels like a gentle sail. It's like he's just biding his time, just starting off a little bit there. They're bringing it up. They're bringing it up. Big moment. I like how it brought the energy up with that huge climax, and it's now just went right back down into the tension building, but still busy brewing what's happening here. I like how his guitar kind of snakes around in this pit that they've built. Trying to count it out. A little breath of life from that piano. Side stick. Lead us there. Lead us there. Take us where we need to go. That big roll. Mellotron seeming coming back. They built right back into it. There you go. I'm catching you. coming back in just to back it up. I love how the harpsichord is playing this part out. Playing us out to the ending. And piano coming through at the very end too, huh? Okay. Shadowfax, Watercourse Way, 1976, bringing you up into 2025 with another best track on the album. The second side, why didn't my Spotify thing go away? The second side of this album, the second half, is perfect. It's a great listen. The first half had me a little worried, or I should say the first two songs. It was just not what I'm wanting right now, right? Third song with Petite, okay, we're heading in the right direction. But man, we weren't just heading in the right direction. We are in the right direction. A song for my brother perfectly, once again, it's another 5 out of 5, perfectly rounds out the album with the most powerful moments on the album now, with the most like sensational, satisfying, climactic moments here. I think that this is just crazy. And I love how that first climax that they reach into and pull up to halfway through, like, it's wonderful. You're like, wow, that was great. And then you know what they decide to do? They decide to give it to you twice. They don't go off in a completely different direction after that. They don't begin, what I say, progging it up. They don't begin doing all that Dance of Eternity stuff. No, they keep it simple, and they just redo it again and bring that power back. The build up into it is absolutely wonderful. The guitar playing just so pretty. And the piano is so wonderful, right? And they do such a great job of, you know, for this particular track, making that to me sound like water. It's not the title track, you know, where you kind of expect maybe some sort of water sound effects or anything, but the way that those cymbals are being played again, like the waters are rushing on this finale of the album listen, right? And then here we go. This is that beautiful startup towards that climax. When the guitar changes here, there you go. You can hear that it's beginning to give you something different, a different melody sneaking in, but it's what that melody eventually grows into. Still played with a certain subtlety, a certain finesse, and then there's that final run up, and it just builds and builds from there. Like, this is the track that to me feels like it's a satisfying conclusion of the album, as it should be as the last track, but it feels to me like even the band themselves are kind of doing a victory lap around themselves here. Like, even they are just so impressed with what they pulled off there. But I mean, that melody though. Like, are you guys feeling the same, where these final three tracks, ending with this one, just feel like the perfect triplet of tracks? I think that these three are perfect. Do you think that Song for My Brother is as impressive as I do? Because I think it's crazy. I think it's another 5 out of 5, kind of like a book of hours. So, yeah. If we were to take, let me put you guys up here really quick. If we were to take the album and give it ratings, like out of 5, of course 5 being the best, I would be like this: 2, 3.5, 5, 4.5, 5.5. That's how I view this album. I love those softer tracks, or at least those like this one that had that power but brought it down into such a wonderfully melodic and ultimately satisfying way. That was a really, really great listen. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you enjoyed the album listen, the album reaction for this Long Song Saturday with Shadowfax, which sounds like you're trying to send a fax, but like to the dark web or something. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for the recommendation, of course, for the band and for the album. At first, I was a little worried, but as we got deeper, we got some gems. We caught some diamonds in this coal. But hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you didn't press the like button and subscribe in the beginning, you don't have to, but just a reminder, a gentle little nudge, hopefully in the right direction to do so. Hope you had a good time. Come back tomorrow. You never know what we're doing, because most of the time I don't either. Thank you for being here, and I will see you all later. Bye.